Okay, so we're going to start standing at the back of our mat and just start to let your feet spread hip width apart. Let your toes just find the floor, let your heels press into the floor. Have a little rock forward and back a few times without falling. Shifting the weight on the toes, shifting the weight to the heels. Maybe rising up off the toes and then rising up off the heels a few times. Let your arms go heavy. And then just holding it still, pressing all 5 toes on each foot into the floor and the heels into the floor. And then just start to give those shoulders a roll up, back and down. So letting your eyes maybe close, soften the knees, really exaggerate the size and the rolling of the shoulders up around the ears, back and down, like you're moving, not like you're moving, you are moving through your shoulder blades, and you're trying to create as much movement, as much range as you can. And then reverse, so bringing the shoulder blades back, rolling them up around the ears and rolling them down. So continue just a few more of those, slow, big and steady. And then just let your arms drop and hang by your side, and just let your head roll in a few circles. So going clockwise first, letting your chin come all the way down towards your chest, rolling your head to the side, rolling your head back, and going to the other side. One more in this direction, keep it nice and slow. Letting your shoulders just relax away from your ears. And then let's reverse the circle. Chin to chest, going the other way. Letting, again, your head move in as big, as wide a range of motion as possible. One final circle. Noticing where it feels tight. And then just holding in the center. Looking forward. And then just from there, bring your feet a little bit wider. So toes are turned out. And just to allow a little bit of room for the bump. And then I just want you to roll or soften your knees. Let your arms hang, and we're going to roll down through the spine. So chin to chest, rounding the spine. This will feel a little bit different and look a little bit different as the bump gets bigger. But just coming down into your deepest fold, I'm going to open my feet and knees even wider. And just let my head fall. My hands are on the floor, but they don't need to be. I'm just rolling my head from side to side. Taking the weight into the feet, out of the hands, just slowly roll yourself back up, pressing through the ground. One vertebra at a time rebuilds, and the shoulders roll at the top. Going again, chin to chest, shoulders roll forward, knees are soft, and you're letting the hamstrings stretch, the back of the legs lengthen a little bit more, just coming into whatever fold you can find. Letting the eyes look in between the legs. Breath in, breath out. We're going to hold it down here. Bend the knees generously, hands come to the mat, and lower the knees onto the floor. So we're going to come into a 4-point position. So what I want you to do is have your shoulders above your wrists and your knees under your hips. We're going to bring left foot or leg out to the left. So you've got your heel roughly in line with your hip. And then we're just going to start to rock the hips back and forward. Now again, as the bump gets bigger, you might want to turn your right knee outward slightly so that as you send your hips back, your bump has a bit of room. It's not just pressing into your right thigh. Okay, so rocking back, easing forward, letting the weight shift back through the hips, letting the left inner thigh stretch. Breathing slowly through the nose if we can. And then just bringing it up for me, shoulders above wrists, holding that left leg where it is. Just give me a cat-cow. So tuck your chin, round your spine, look to your belly, and try to tuck your tailbone slightly. Then as we breathe out, look up to the ceiling. Let your bum slightly stick up to the ceiling and just find whatever range is there. So in these cat-cows, they're never going to be extremes like you would if you weren't pregnant. It's definitely a lot more gentle, a lot less range. Going for that again. Breathing in. Tuck the chin, hold that rounded cat shape as you exhale. Inhale, gently beginning to look up, letting the belly pull down to the floor, letting the tailbone reach up to the ceiling and those sit bones reach up to the ceiling. One more time. Left leg staying long. Tuck the chin, round the spine. Exhale, hold that cat. And then inhale, let's look up to the ceiling. Holding that extended position, so that cow shape. See if you can hinge your hips back. Holding that press back position. Maybe the right knee opens a bit wider, and maybe you're resting your hips down or your right hip down on your right heel. Holding that stretch in the left inner thigh. Start to look up gently a little bit more, letting that tailbone reach back behind you as long as it feels good. Inhale, shoulders down. Exhale. Lovely. Okay, rock forward for me, shoulders above the wrists. Bring that right knee under the hip. I want you to bring your left foot for me towards the outside of your left hand. And then just tuck your back toes for me. Using a little bit of strength through those legs. Come up off the hands. And we're going to push through both feet and stand. So you're basically in a lunge position. Now the left foot is nice and far forward. The right toes, we're high on the right toes, and the hips are square, the pelvis is square. So starting with the legs straight, I just want you to bend then both knees, so roughly 90-90, and straighten both legs. So keeping both hips facing forward, hip bones facing forward, bend both knees a little, straighten both legs. Now depending on what stage you're at in pregnancy, you might be able to go low, you might not be able to tolerate this at all, and if your pelvis is not agreeing with this, just come into some squats, both feet turned out, and you're going to give me 2 more of these bend and straighten, pushing through the front foot but also the back foot, keeping the body nice and tall, spine nice and long, feeling that right quad on the back leg, left glute on the front. And then hold down in the bend, keep the left knee bent for me, and see if you can push your right heel back until that right leg is straight. So a bit more of a yogi type lunge. Lift your chest up so you're in a little slight backward bend. Left knee is bent, got all the weight in it. Right heel is pushing back, so you're stretching that right hip and you're opening up through the front of that right quad. Hips stay square, reach the arms up for me. And just breathe here, shoulders down, take a breath in, exhale, stay there, legs just start to nicely heat up, holding a little bit longer than we'd like to, squeezing that right back butt cheek, one more time, inhale, hold it as we exhale, and then just slowly, gently, lower the back knee to the floor. I want you to bring your hands on the inside of that left foot, bring the left foot wider and turn the left toes out. Untuck the back toes and drop into this gecko lunge stretch. So you're opening up even more now through that right hip, the front of that right hip flexor, the front of that right quad, and your left knee is bent generously. The hips are just sinking passively down to the floor. And you're breathing nice and slowly. Now if that back right knee is comfortable, you can feel a squeeze in the back right butt cheek, opening through the right hip, compressing deeply through the left. Maybe you can bend your right knee, lifting the right shin off the floor and bringing your right heel towards your butt cheek. Hands are nice and strong on the ground, arms are strong. And if you've got that right heel pulling towards your bum, and you feel that right quad hopefully increase in the stretch, see if you can pull your right heel closer to the right butt cheek. Inhale as we exhale, pull the heel closer. One more time, inhale. Exhale, pull the right heel closer. Lovely. Slowly, gently lower the right shin down, and then just push your hips back for me and come in to straighten that left leg as much as we can. So we're folding the body forward into a hamstring stretch. Left leg is still turned out slightly to allow room for the bump, and I'm going to flex my left toes off the floor towards my left knee and try to square my hips off. So try to pull that left hip bone back, the left toes back, maybe using a hand to assist. Hips sink down. Feel the back of that left thigh. Shoulders down away from the ears. Rather than rounding the spine, try to straighten the spine. Holding for a breath in. Breath out. Lovely. Okay, just bring the hands down, bend the knee, and pop both knees under the hips for me. Okay, both knees are under the hips, hands are both under the shoulders, and we're just going to breathe. So with a flat back, eyes look forward of the fingertips, knees are under the hips, spine is long. We're going to breathe in, let the belly fall. Exhale, gently hug the baby. So when we're doing that hug the baby, we're not cat cawing. We're keeping the spine straight. We're gently pulling the muscles around the ribs, the belly, the baby a little bit tighter. And then inhale, slowly soften. So you should feel the muscles relax towards the floor, around the abdominals as we breathe in. Again, spine doesn't change shape. And then as we exhale, the belly tightens. That corset that you're imagining around your waist tightens gently, and you're engaging the muscles around the baby. Inhale to soften. Give me another 2. Inhale, soften. Exhale, final 1. Now keep that brace of the abs. See if you can tuck the toes. Take a breath in. As we exhale, tighten that tummy slightly, that hug the baby. Hover the knees if you can. 3, keep hovering, breathe out 2. And inhale, set the knees down, belly relax. Let's go again. Exhale, spread the fingertips, draw the belly in. Then lift the knees. Look at the tummy, there's no doming down the midline. Inhale, set the knees down. Shoulders are strong, shift more weight into the shoulders. Less weight in the core, less weight in the feet. Inhale, belly relaxes. Exhale, firstly hug the baby. Then lift the knees. Hold it for 3. Empty the lungs 2. Slowly inhale, release the knees, release the belly. Final 1. Exhale. Then lift for 3, 2, and lower. Lovely. Okay, we're going to untuck the toes. Give your spine and hips a little wiggle side to side. It's like you're wagging a tail. Eyes look to the right butt cheek as you bring your right shoulder towards your right hip. And then eyes look to the left butt cheek as you bring your left hip towards your left shoulder. Give me a few more of those little tail wags. Right side, left side. Okay, holding in the middle. Right leg is going to extend out long to the right side of your hip. And we're going to start with those adductor rock backs. So just letting the left knee maybe open to the left slightly. Hinging the hips back and forward. Now you might just find one side feels a bit tighter, more restricted than the other. It might be niggly through the pelvis, might feel wrong. Listen to your body, reduce the range, and really just very gently ease yourself through this. So it's about opening up through the right inner thigh and hip, letting the weight just rock forward and back from the shoulders. spine stays nice and long, but you're trying to relax through the upper body a little. Okay, coming into our final one. And then rock forward for me, shoulders above the wrists, keeping the right leg long. Give me that little cat-cow. So start to tuck your chin to your chest, round your spine, look to your belly, breathe in. Exhale, hold that cat. Now breathing in, look up to the ceiling. Gently letting your tailbone reach up as well. Again, we don't exaggerate it, we don't push it, it's just gentle range of motion. We're going to breathe in, tuck the chin, round the spine, exhale. Breath in, look up. Let your tailbone reach up. Let your belly roll down towards the mat. Arms stay straight. And again, final time, tuck the chin. Tuck the tailbone. Exhale to get deeper. Push the floor away. And then inhale, gently look up. Tailbone reaches up. We're going to hold this extended cow position. And holding that slight extension, just see if you can rock your hips back. And just maybe rock them all the way back that you're resting left hip on left heel. Start to look up a little teeny bit more with your gaze. Keep that extension through the spine. Maybe the hands walk back slightly. The right inner thigh getting a lovely big stretch. Soften the knee if you need to. The tailbone reaching back behind you. The shoulders pulling down away from the ears. Breathe in. Hold it for a breath out. And then gently, we're going to rock forward, shoulders above the wrists. Okay, bring your right foot to the outside of your right hand and the left knee in under the hip. Now tuck the back toes. Bring yourself up so the hands are off the floor, maybe on the hips, and your feet are about hip width apart. So they're not on the same line in the middle of the mat. They're not a mile apart either. They're about hip width, so you're nice and stable. And then if we can, lift ourselves up until those legs are straight. Using a wall, a chair, anything that you need to assist that transition, or just standing up and then getting into this. Right foot forward, left foot back, left heel is high. Hips are square, so let's pop the hands on the hip bones, left hip wraps forward. We're going to start by bending both knees and then straighten. Body stays bang in the middle and you're keeping your spine nice and straight, looking ahead. Bend and straighten. So we're forcing that left hip to work a little bit harder in terms of opening and stretching and lengthening by keeping the torso upright. We're not hinging forward, and we're trying to wrap that left hip bone forward to make the hip work harder as well. Right glute working, left quad working, feet working, core, everything is on. Final two. Again, the range is yours, doesn't need to be big. There's only so low you can go when the bump gets big enough to touch that right thigh. Okay, next one, we're going to hold it down, straightening the back leg. You might need to shuffle the toes back slightly. Push that left heel as far away from you as you can. Hips are square, arms reach up if that feels good. Right knee is bent, left leg is straight, and we literally just hold it. So breathing in, breathing out. You can get deeper by spreading the feet further apart. Shoulders away from ears. Let's squeeze the left butt cheek on that back leg. Exhale. Staying for a little bit longer than we'd like to. Big final inhale. Hold for that big exhale. Push through the floor. And then just slowly lower left knee down, hands down. So hands are inside the right foot, heel toe your right foot out to turn out to the right slightly. Untuck the back left toes, maybe shimmy the left knee back a little and start to drop the hips into this gecko passive lunge. So you're opening through that left hip flexor, you're squeezing that left butt cheek to help do that, and you're literally just letting your body, your hips, passively fall towards the floor. Right foot is under, ankle is under the knee, so try not to let the knee overtake too much. Hands somewhere under shoulders, taking a good bit of your weight. And if this feels comfortable enough, left hip is opening, left glute is squeezing, and you want to intensify a little bit. See if you can bend the left knee. I like to point my toes and just pull my left heel towards my left butt cheek. So I'm just increasing the challenge, the stretch through the front of the left quad and the front of the left hip. Keeping weight in my arms, maybe pulling that left heel closer. Take a breath in. As I exhale, pull the left heel to the left butt cheek. Breathing in. Exhale, pull the heel to the butt cheek. Hips are heavy. Inhale, final one. Exhale, pull the heel to the butt cheek. And then release the left toes back to the floor, slowly. We're gonna untuck those back toes. We're gonna find a fold into this hamstring stretch for the right leg. So I'm keeping my right leg turned out slightly. I'm gonna flex my right toes back to my knee. I'm gonna reset. Bump is somewhere in the middle of those legs, and my hands, fingertips are on the floor. I'm gonna straighten my spine. So I'm not rounding, I'm straightening. I'm on my fingertips, and I'm maybe pulling my right toes back towards my right knee, feeling the back of that right leg, that right hamstring, get a lovely big stretch. You can point and flex the toes or just hold that flex. Breathing in. Exhale, get those hips a little deeper. Breathing in, soft shoulders, no tension in the jaw. Exhale, a little bit deeper. Lovely. And then just slowly, gently, bending that right knee, hands down. Bring the right knee under the hip for me. And just have those knees under the hips, hands under the shoulders, and just hold in that 4-point position. Have a little wiggle side to side. Inhale, exhale, and then just very gently, we're going to tuck the toes and lift the knees. Before you do that, breathe out, hug the baby, then lift and push down into a downward dog. Feet are going to spread wider than the hips. I'm going to look in between my legs. I might shorten my downward dog stance a little bit. I'm going to drop my chest. I'm going to open my feet even wider because that feels better. And I'm just going to let my head hang. If this doesn't feel good, you can always come into a child's pose or a forward fold. And just start to breathe. Breath in. Breath out. Breath in. Breath out. And then just start to turn your toes outward. Their feet are wider than the mat. I'm going to bend my knees, reverse my hands towards my feet, and drop down into this deep passive squat. So you might want a towel to go under the heels or a cushion if the heels are lifted, just so you can relax into it. Or you might be comfy there and the feet are flat. Have a wiggle around with the foot position so it just is as comfortable and as natural feeling to you as possible. Elbows push the knees away from each other, hands can press together. Straighten the spine, shoulders back, open the hips. Inhale, exhale. Just having a few breaths, maybe wiggling side to side if that feels good for you. Maybe doing a twist if that feels good for you, or maybe just holding it completely still. Try to soften the breath. Try to soften through the pelvic floor. Unclench your jaw to direct way to soften through the pelvic floor, the cervix. Shoulders relax away from the ears. Inhale and exhale. One more breath here. Heart rate is down. Body feels nice and heavy. And then just see if you can very gently bring your hands or a hand behind you and just let your bum come down to the floor carefully. I'm going to sit in a butterfly with my feet together and my knees open. You could cross your legs, you could straighten your legs, you could be kneeling, doesn't matter. Just a position that is comfortable for you. I'm going to clasp my hands under my feet. Find my sit bones on the floor. Press my thighs down towards the floor and straighten my spine. Breathing in, soft exhale. Breathing in through the nose, soft exhale. And then just wherever you're sitting, just start to nod your chin all the way to your chest, as far as it can go, exaggerating the stretch in the back of the neck. And then let your eyes look up, your head fold softly, gently, all the way back. Stretching, opening through the front of your throat, compressing through the back of your neck. Let your head feel completely heavy there. Come back to center. Bring your right ear towards your right shoulder. Keep your shoulder down. And just let that ear, the weight of your head, naturally fall to the right. Don't force it. Breath in. Holding for the breath out. Back through center. Left ear towards left shoulder. Again, don't lift the shoulder up, keep it down. Letting the weight of the head just way towards the left. And just coming back to center. Give your head a full circle in one direction. And then a full circle in the other. Sitting up nice and tall. Let your arms release so they're just dangling down by your sides. Let your shoulders have a roll up like we started, back and down. Reverse the circle, back, up and down. Give your eyes a little open, let your body have a little wiggle, bring a little bit of life back into it, and very, very well done.